We here at No.11 High School are celebrating our school's 50th anniversary. To commemorate this monumental year, we are recording 50 interviews from 50 different people who have shaped the school into what it is today. This is No.11 High School's 50th anniversary. Today's interview is with Renesha Kierstedt. She recounts her journey from a student to special education teacher and cheer coach to vice principal at her very own alma mater.
You were a freshman entering No.11 High School. What were you feeling?
I was truthfully excited, very excited, because my sister was also a senior. So it was, I've always wanted to get to the big school, the big high school. I've always known of that as the big school. And my freshman year was just eyes wide open, large campus, a little nervous.
Yeah.
How was I going to be able to get around this campus? But just fell into place. Being from No.11 and the community, it was just something that became me.
Okay.
You know, I became No.11.
You did. You really did. So, what did you become when you were at No.11 High School?
I was a cheerleader. Cheerleading got me through all my high school years, especially from a single parent. I was on campus 24/7, 365. So I had mentors such as Miss Lau. She was my cheerleading coach, as my business teacher and DECA administrator. And it was just, if it wasn't for her and Miss Jennings, Mr. Nambu, they got me through. So me having to, be on this big campus and having my cheer sisters starting off as my little JV year, and even Mr. Tremarsh's daughter, she was actually my mentor.
Oh wow!
Because she was the varsity cheerleader. I wanted to be like her and Vanessa.
That's right.
But it was from then I just took it, and the spirit of No.11 kind of stuck with me, and it stayed with me still.
So you were here from the fall of '88 to spring of '93,
yes.
If I do the math right. I left in the spring of '88, so we kind of bookended each other. So I kind of know what you walked into, but tell me about how the school changed throughout the 4 years that you were here.
For me, I was the friendly one, so I was all around the entire campus in different groups. From L building to B building to, and then the O building opened up.
Oh yeah.
You could say my senior year, so we were like that class. I was like, yes, we have O building, the new one, but it evolved into more of it was clickety. We had a lot of cliques. And we had some racial issues and so forth, but it turned into, like how we say, a big family. It morphed into that melting pot. It wasn't just, at one point it was specific people at specific areas, and then we were just like, no, we can't have it. So we just started mingling amongst everyone. And I think it really started for our classes, for when I was here, was when we had all those pep rallies. It kept coming up on B building. Before, my sister would tell me they didn't have as much. And then throughout my year, I'm thinking every activity, we had something that was on that B lawn. B lawn, yeah. And it was down from the football players, the cheerleaders, we would do lip syncs, and it was that community that kind of came together. And I think that's what brought the students more together, as in being so quick.
Tell me about, how did it come together?
I think it started with the students, and their voices were being, they were heard.
Good.
And with their parents, and then the staff started to come in with it. The community started to come in with it, and they knew that something had to change. This is not No.11.
Right.
What's going on at No.11 High School, and it's being out in public. This isn't No.11, so how are we going to change it? And I think it was like a revamp. Because I remember my senior year at one point, and then I went to college. 6 months, I went to HPU, but as I was coaching at the same time, I just saw the dynamics of the school kind of changing more to a unity side. Sure. And then from there, and of course, me being a cheer coach, I'm still in the mingle, so I'm jumping on board with Millwood, jumping on board, for the football team, and trying to get these students more together. And I think that's where it kind of started. It kind of stuck together from there. But No.11's always had that pride.
Yeah, and so returning to it was sort of like we're not that, and we're better than this.
We are better than that.
And then you were. Then you made it happen. Okay. Who were your favorite teachers?
Miss Sherlyn Lau. She was my coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought of her as, oh my God, she's so mean. She's so strict. And I realized 23 years later, also being a coach, that what she taught me and the reason why she was that way was very beneficial. And so I followed her tactics. And then Mr. Nambu, my math teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Mine
the
too.
realest person you could possibly think of.
Mm-hmm.
He told you the truth. There was no sugarcoating it. But I think that's what made me kind of become more independent and take accountability of my own actions.
Or you were there on Saturdays.
Yes.
I was there on Saturdays too.
Saturdays.
Mr. Nambu and those Saturdays are the reason why I passed Algebra 1.
Yes. But again, that was the most influential moments for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Miss Jenkins was there. Again, during that time when we had some racial issues, she helped with building all the cultural clubs. So we started the first African American club, that year and so forth. Again, trying to do that unity, and then other cultures and so forth started coming out. Then I also had Mr.
Tapara. Yeah.
Yes, she was here, and I had Miss Gross. I don't know if you know Miss Renee Gross.
Yes.
She was one that would always stay after school with us because we had a lot of us students, and the parents weren't home.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want us at home by ourselves, so we stayed on campus. So she had different activities and so forth for us before practice and everything. So it was those small things that the staff and so forth did for us that I kept, and I continue to do this day, to this day for the students, because that's what No.11 is always about.
So let's fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
You returned back as an educator, and I think you were coaching just a little bit before you started teaching.
So I graduated from high school, and Ms. Lau also left.
Right.
And there was no coach. So Mr. Kalinana asked me if I could part-time while I'm going full-time to school to help with the cheer program. And so I did. So I coached 4 years while I was doing my undergrad here, and then I got married and left. And then when I came back to be an actual educator, I was under Alex Ober.
That's right.
Yes, Alex Ober was in the cheer. She was the head coordinator with Avery Connor.
That's right.
And I was at EA, educational assistant, when I came in. And then Alex kind of looked at me and was like, okay, I'm getting ready to leave. And I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? And she's like, here you go. And she passed it over to me. And I had it ever since until 2020.
How many years was that? Started in what year?
I started, the smaller coaches was 93 to 97. Then I came back in 2003 up until 2020.
17 years.
Yes.
18 years.
18 plus, if you can think. Yes. So,
you were a part of cheer at our school, at HPU, and certainly as a coach at No.11 High School during an era where, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think it was an era where cheerleading began to get the respect for being a sport, for being a genre unto itself. It wasn't just to be there to rah-rah for everybody else. There was a time where it was their stage and it was their championship to win. Talk to me about that evolution and some of the challenges that you came across.
That was an evolution, because we cheerleaders are always thought of as they're the spirit of the school, the pretty people, the rah-rah, and they never saw the behind the scenes of what these athletes do year-round, because it's a year-round sport. And so it took a lot of consistency, determination from the years of cheerleaders that I've had to hold up the legacy of cheerleading is a sport. And then having to develop those programs to the point of community service that's available and so forth for everybody to be able to experience it, and then also the skill and the sport to continue as they go to college and after high school. So, having to, deal with those, hey, just hold your pom-poms, and then to show them. That was the main thing. So that's why I always wanted to make sure that they were seen, they were public, they were in everyone's eyes. You can see what they were doing, and it wasn't just a rah-rah thing. It was, they are determined. And so all the accolades and the traveling, just to give them that experience and to get the word out that cheerleading was something. I remember because they had that image of I have to have the makeup, and I have have to look this way. And again, your sport, it's going to rub off. You're going to sweat.
Yeah.
And you want to look presentable, yes, but it's also want to be also inclusive.
Yeah.
Because cheerleading is a open gender sport, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about the makeup. It's not about the flashy uniforms. It's about what you put out there on the mat and what you're doing to support your school and your team.
Right.
And that's where the main focus is.
Well, and there's a parallel to band there too, where people don't realize the physicality that comes with it, the injuries, the extended practices for perfection, right? I mean, talk about that. Like, people didn't understand how much time cheer took. I'm sure you had to like talk to the parents because.
Oh yes. From the very beginning, I had to let the parents know it's going to be some long nights, and the dedication has to be from the very beginning because again, it's a team sport, it's not an individual sport. When one person's out, it affects the entire program, not just the team, but the program.
Right.
And they have to be that mentor. So having to understand that they have to really organize their lives. Because for me, academics was first.
Yeah.
You are a student athlete first, so you got to keep your grades up at the same time, but plus still be able to support your school, do the community, do your housework, do your chores. So me and the parents, we've always had a tag team relationship because I was always told them they're more scared of their coach than they're scared of the parent. So if we have problems at home, let me know. We can work it together, right? And the parents really enjoyed that at the same time, and it kind of just helped create that individual and help them grow to become such independent, young adults.
I know you didn't focus on the trophies. The trophies came because of the work, because of the opportunities. But if I had to ask you what were your top priorities, I think trophies wouldn't even be in the top 3. You certainly wanted excellence.
Not at all.
But what did you want from your students?
I wanted them to understand that what they were able to do to impact not only their school but their community and then themselves and their family. They are a representation of their families, their community, and that nothing can stop them. Case closed, nothing. I don't care if it's great, we can get through no matter what, and it's also, it stems from me and what I had in my childhood. Because, I had a hard childhood, but if it wasn't for the teachers and the coaches and so forth that were there for me 24/7, I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's how I'm giving back. And so I instill those skills into them, and I see them now with their families, and they're growing and they're giving back. I have so many teachers who are at No.11 High School who are ex-cheerleaders and nurses and doctors, and they're still communicating and saying, Coach, now I understand why you are the way you are, and why you taught us those certain things, because of how we can get back and be better for our community. And it's that revolving. That's how good trophies. No, that's just that shows a little accolade of your hard work, but it's more deeper inside of that passion and pride.
So inclusivity was also something that I think is part of your legacy. First of all, your team grew and grew and grew and grew, and eventually you had sort of a competitive team, you had sideline cheer, but you were not one to say, oh, you don't look the part, or you aren't a certain way, a certain body type or whatnot. You included everybody. So talk about like that, him or
stereotypes.
whomever.
I totally against any and all stereotypes. Anybody who wanted to help support their school, wanted to even try cheerleading, had the passion, there's something inside that individual that they came up to me and asked me about cheerleading. I found it and I said, okay, we're gonna go off your strengths and we're gonna do it. So the stereotypes, I was totally against it. And of course it comes back, right? You gotta be this size, this small, this height, this, and I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. I will be that multi-colored team. I will be that multi-sex team. I will be that team that will allow, whether I have 10 people or 60, because at one point I did have 60 plus cheerleaders.
The cheer army.
It's called the cheer army. But it's to the point I want to give every single individual an opportunity to experience this and then take what they needed and go with it. Some people stayed in it long, and some people, thank you for that, and found themselves and in their way. But there was never not a time that no one was never given an opportunity.
They could lose the opportunity
if they lose it,
weren't dedicated in terms of make the rehearsals and those kinds of things, or their grades. but it wasn't about...
No, it wasn't about you have to look a particular way, you have to be a certain height or something. Nope, not one bit. And I was always that one that you have to make sure you present yourself and be happy and proud within yourself no matter what. Yeah.
Another stereotype or image that you kind of break down is you kind of made fun of the genre sometimes. Like when it came to the outfits, one sock, a ponytail askew, like you did stuff just to kind of push things, I don't know, with the organization.
I like to push out of the box. I am an out of the box person. I cannot be into a specific area. So I like to give the athletes accountability and feel that want. So every year there was something that they came up with. There was their motto. It was something that they added to the legacy of Mililani Cheer, and then we just continuously rolled with it. So one year we started off with the sock. One girl was like, truthfully, it was because she had Band-Aids on, and she was really, she was like, I don't want to show my Band-Aids. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do this. We wore the sock, and then from there the sock.
Like one knee-high sock on one side.
And that was just the point. This team wanted, okay, we're gonna do that, and then it stayed.
Then it was the leopard.
Then we had the leopard colors, right? Brown and gold, and Spanx, something that's a little different, but they wanted to add their personal touch to it. And we had the acronyms, we had the side ponies. It was just something that the athletes wanted to do something different, and that showed that this was our year, or this is what we left for Mililani. So it created that legacy, and so even like right now on social media, when people would meet back up, they'll say, "Hey, well, we were the legacy that started the cheetah, or we were the legacy that started the pink bows, and we were the ones that got into Dr. Brummel. Hey, we need a field house, things like that, right? So it's just that accountability, and they were able to connect and do something. And so again, it's out of the box. We want to be different. Yeah. We do not want to be and look like anybody else.
Okay. I can't have an interview with you and not talk about the triad. We've had this conversation a lot of times where we're talking about the school spirit of the school, right? Trojan pride, and there's something special. Not to say that everything cheer is about the football game, but there's something special about having the football team, the band, and the cheerleaders when we're all rocking that stadium together. So
it's you can't even put it into words. If one of piece is missing, it just doesn't feel right. But when you have that football team on that field, and you have the band, and then you have the cheer, it's like this electric energy. Even if you don't go to Mililani, if you just come by our section, you're just like, wow. Because we feed off of each other, we feel each other. The band knows our cheers. We're all into the band. The football team knows which song is coming and how to feel. It's like, and you don't even have to say nothing. We just look at each other. We got it. Because I remember when me and you were on the sideline. I didn't even have to talk. I'm on the field, and I'm yelling on the field, and you're up in the stands, and we just look at each other, and then it's like boom.
Well, especially when it was off. That's when the looks would come like. What's going on? I got this. Or we'll go do it again. But it was just like it's that connection. And again, even within the community, they always say we'll shut it down. Right? If there's a game, we shut it. It literally Mililani shut down. And if it wasn't for the students and the parents of each group coming together, amazing. That is just something that you really can't put it into words. It's just a feeling. You sit there. It gives you goosebumps. And I love it. Okay, you and I have something else in common where people wouldn't look at us and think we were born and raised in Hawaii, or that we went to all schools here. We graduated from this school. People always think that we're mainland transplants.
Yes.
Sometimes you can use it to your advantage. What's that been like for you?
In the very beginning, truthfully, they would be like, "Okay, you're military."
Yeah, and you gotta be military.
Nope, not military. Been here since I was 5, and they kind of go, "What?" But when I get really excited and passionate about something, it comes out in my voice. The lingo, it comes out. They go, "Wait a second, wait."
That's Pigeon.
That's Pigeon. She's from here. And then I start explaining my experiences in the schools I went to and the beaches I hung out at, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yep, you're an island girl." I said, "Yes, this is my home, and I'm so proud of it." But from the point of view before, they were like, "No, she's military. So how long have you been here, and how long do you have?"
Right.
No, this is my home, and I'm proud to also raise my children here too.
Right.
So, that's always been a struggle. But recently, I think everybody kind of knows. Oh no, that's Crazy K.
Yeah,
that's Crazy K. So she's from Hawaii.
That's the Mililani cheer coach. There we go, sir. You haven't just been a cheerleader for cheerleaders. you were a vocal and a large presence of positivity in our faculty, and we have a big staff, and it can be a tough place to navigate, but it also can have a family feel to it. So just tell a little bit about what it's like to come back to be a teacher and to be a part of this major team that's almost 300 people strong that runs this school.
To come back to Mililani, that was the best, truthfully, to knowing I was able to actually work for the community that actually raised me. And then just a large amount of people. In the beginning, I was kind of intimidated, like, wow, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But then I realized that's a lot of people that can influence more students, that can influence more, the community and so forth. So I took it upon myself, like, okay, let me try to get out and be that cheerleader in the classrooms, for each person. This is where Mililani's about, especially if they're not from here. And to kind of get them on board to help build the staff, how we call it, cheerleader. The cheerleading team and so forth. And it kind of, it takes a little bit. It takes a crazy person like myself to go, because some people are not the outgoing type of people, but then they realize, you know what? This is what creates the school, and you get more comfortable, and then you feel like a family and so forth at home, and someone you can connect to, and they also know that me being that wild, but I'm the one that can go out. We can do some lip syncs, get people on board,
right.
And it kind of hopefully that rubs off on others.
So I know at first you didn't want to do the job, and then it was hard to tear you away to go into admin training later on. So talk about that journey from the beginning of taking on the reins of SPED to becoming that leader.
In the beginning, it was challenging. New being here on the campus and so forth with a large amount of adults. I've always worked with kids, but when it's adults, it's different.
It's different.
Different, right? But then after I got to know the individuals and know their personalities and their strengths. And of course, we're all not the same. But I knew that we had something in common. And what was in common was helping all these students who had disabilities, who were, already having this disadvantage. And being able to help in that perspective, that was that one shared vision. And I just built off of that. And then built off what their strength was. And eventually it came down to understanding each person's perspective. But they knew that they could always come to me because I was here 24/7. I was here at 6:30 in the morning and I didn't leave until 10 o'clock at night because I'm here for cheer and so forth, right? And so I was always available. And then it turned from a department to a family because nobody left. You have teachers, they leave and so no one left.
That was amazing, right? We used to have huge turnover. Almost half of the special education department would turn over every year.
Because it was at one point we were turning over 15, 20, but now it's like I see these EAs and we have EAs who are, becoming teachers now, pushing them to do what they want to do, and now half the EAs are now teachers and they're here, and then some of them are alumni and they don't have plans of going anywhere. They have plans of maybe moving up, trying, new challenges and so forth and new venues, but not leaving. So it's just that building that capacity. But again, still family. Still to this day, I still keep in touch. Some of them are here, some of them are not, but we still keep in touch. And it's just that there is a family, and it takes a village, right, to raise a kid. And so the special education village that we call it, oh my God, they are just amazing individuals, and what they do for our students, it's just. You can't beat it. Right. The best, to me, the best department ever. And I'll always be gung-ho when it comes to special education.
Well, it's the reason why we made that shirt with the Superman S on the chest.
Yes, the Superman. We have that.
Yeah.
And they were the funnest. They were the more outgoing. We're all out of the box. So that was the group that you would get into lip syncs and you would get to be all that.
A lot of new teachers, and they'd have some fun energy. They'd be a part of the advisory groups for every grade level. Yeah.
And the different generations would come together. Because you had the younger teachers, middle teachers, and then you have the older teachers, and came together. It was amazing. Yeah. Good group.
Well, we worked hard at that group. We really did. Where would you like to see Mililani go from here?
It's gonna grow. It's just gonna. Like I said, I remember when there was no Malcolm. So it's just going to keep growing, keep building it. When you say go, it's gone. You know, it's already surpassed that area, but it's just going to continue to be more, I guess, available and more successful for the students. I just see the future as, I don't know, just like this thing that's just feeding into, I don't know, it might become a post-high school, truthfully. I'm waiting for the colleges to come around us. I'm just saying, you know.
Well, yeah. With all the AP programs, we
yes.
have a lot of early college that we are starting to infuse, and that kind of stuff.
I don't look on it as stress. I look on it as, this is my purpose. And again, like I said,
it is your purpose.
It is my purpose.
I mean, that's Renesha Kierstedt.
This is my purpose.
This has evolved. You did not think you were going to be a vice principal.
I did not think, but I do know that I wanted to be able to impact more. And how am I able to impact more was to become a, step out my comfort zone, but it's also having mentors and leaders such as yourself. And who I've had throughout my journey to give me that confidence, that push, that kick.
A little bit.
The kick, but needed it, to find myself and to really define my purpose so that I could give back and give what I got, because I want to share that experience with others.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching today's video. Please subscribe to Mililani TV to keep up with more interviews about our amazing school.